ようやく世間が気づいたかみたいなところはありますけど、
何にせやっぱね履きやすい、快適ですよね。
Passion for Hoka is giving us that growth potential.
Our technology, our product, it's definitely different and very distinguished.
Our branding's pretty strong.
Market, we call it marketplace strategy.
Definitely building community is the key. And within Japan, again, Tokyo is going to be very, very important for that.
皆さんこんにちは。ニュースピックスタジオの木崎です。この番組は今注目すべきビジネスパーソンの過去、現在、未来への考えを深掘りしていく番組です。今回私はホカ原宿の記者発表会内覧会に来ています。ホカはアメリカの大手シューズメーカーデッカーズブランズのブランド。ランニングやアウトドアのシューズとして有名なんですが、履き心地が良くて疲れにくいことから今ビジネスパーソンにも愛用されているんです。
ホカ歴ホカ歴自体は結構長いんですよね。ようやく世間が気づいたかみたいなところはありますけど、かっこよさ、は前提として、そのかっこよさの向こう側になんかコンフォート感とか、なんかリラックスとか抜け感みたいなものを今求める時代で、やっぱそういう人の方がなんか仕事シンプルな話できそうな感じするんですよそうでもう自分のセルフプロデュースっていう意味も含めて、なんか他選んでる人いたら俺はなんかいいんじゃないですかっていうふうに思っちゃうから、そう、これがブランドのいいとこですよね
僕もともと超スニーカーマニアなんですよ。108足煩悩の数だけスニーカーを持つ男なんですけど、シンプルに最近よく履いてる人が多い。ファッションタウンユースだけ待ち履きなんですけど、すごく自分の好きなファッションに違和感がないっていうのと、何にせやっぱね履きやすい、快適ですよね。スウェードとか、あと黒、茶色とかネイビーもあったかな。結構だから今時のビジネスカジュアルに全然違和感がない、そういうカラーリングのものも結構あるんですよね。だからこれ結構ビジネスカジュアル、ビジネスマンいけるんじゃないかなと、御用達になっていくんじゃないかなというふうには思ってますよね。
こちらホカ原宿は2月22日にオープンの国内最大の直営ストアとなっています。ホカ原宿の中をご案内していただきます。デッカーズジャパン合同会社リテールディレクターの黒田里和さんです。よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いいたします。
まずはホカ原宿のオープンおめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
どのようなお気持ちですか？
まだ履いたことがない方多分いっぱいいらっしゃると思うので、その方たちに弊社の商品を体験していただけるっていう、それが楽しみというか、それですごくワクワクしています。
黒田さんはリテールディレクターとしてどのような仕事を担当されているんですか？
大きく言うと、ブランドを表現する直営店というものを、いつどこにどうやって展開していくかっていうことを、プランニングして、実行していく。お客様やマーケットのニーズに合わせて、変化成長してより魅力的なお店にしていかなくてはならないというのがあるんですね。そういったことを運営でサポートするといったような仕事をさせていただいております。
なるほど。このホカはそもそもいつ誕生したんでしょうか？
ホカはもともと2009年にフランスで設立されたブランドなんですね。ハイクトレイルがすごく好きな2人が山を下る時に足の負担を減らしたいということで開発したパフォーマンスシューズのブランドだったんです。でそれを2012年にアメリカのブランドデッカーズの傘下に入りまして、今に至るといったことになっております。
この国内最大の直営店ということなんですけども、この出店先に原宿を選んだ理由はありますか？
今まで実はポップアップストアのような形で、いろんなところでテストはさせていただいてます。例えば丸の内であるとか渋谷であるとかどの立地も魅力的だったんですけれども、なんか私たちの学びとしてはプロダクトのイノベーションの部分履いていただければ分かるといったようなところを、より多くの方に体験していただくってことがすごい大事だなと思いまして、原宿はやはり便利な場所でありながら代々木公園であったりだとか、大変走る方にとってもすごく魅力的な場所ですので、原宿が私たちにとって最適な場所なんではないかなと思いまして、お店をオープンすることにいたしました。
なるほど。ホカ原宿のならではの特徴というのは何でしょうか？
一つはもう商品のラインナップですね。やはり最新のもの、他店舗では見られないようなアパレルアクセサリーまで幅広く揃えている点が一つあります。でもう一つは今ここにいるイベントスペースですね。こちら奥が更衣室になっておりまして、ホカランクラブに来ていただいた方に利用していただくようになっております。時々ウェアに着替えたいっていうお客様のニーズがすごい高いんですね。そういった時にこちらの更衣室を使っていただいて準備していただく、
ランクラブというコミュニティを作られているってことですか？
そうなんです。はい。でもう一つはフィールホカキャンペーンというのをやらせていただいていて、3月31日まで最新の靴を試し履きしていただけるイベントになります。靴はクリフトン9とボンダイ8というものを揃えておりますので、多くのお客様に体験していただけたらと思います。
それはいいですね。はい、ありがとうございます。そして今後どのような戦略でこのホカ原宿の認知度を上げようと考えられていらっしゃいますか？
このロケーションということ自体がまず認知につながると思っておりまして、ホカのロゴ、このホカのカラーを見ていただく、そしてランナーが集まる場所として活用していただけたら嬉しいなと思っております。
結構人が集まりますから集合場所としてもいいですよね。
そうですね。多くのお客様がこのストアの前は待ち合わせ場所に利用する方多いと思うんですけれども、ぜひランナーの方にも集合場所として活用していただけたらと思っております。
はい、すごい楽しみですね。
はい、ありがとうございます。
ではここからですね、ホカ原宿ではどのような種類のシューズを扱っているのかお聞きしていきたいと思います。ホカ原宿の店長穂積さんです。よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。よろしくお願いいたします。
これホカ原宿にはどのような商品が置いてあるんですか？
はい、ロードタイプの他にもトレイルランニング、アウトドア、ユースなどがあります。特にクリフトン9やボンダイなど人気シリーズがございます。こういったシューズになります。
特徴でいうとどう違うんですか？
ボンダイが他の中でも一番クッション性が高いモデルですね。バランスが良くて長いこと走っていただけるようなシューズになっています。長時間走ったり歩いたりっていう時にはこちらがいいかもしれないですね。でクリフトンに関してはクッション性もありながら軽量化がされているシューズになります。はい、
軽いんですか？
軽いです。
本当だ。
はい。軽いですよね。
全然信じられないですね、この軽さは。
ボンダイも
どっちの方が軽いんだろう。
少し重いですけど軽いです。
本当だ。今おすすめどっちですか？両方。
そうですね。両方ともおすすめですね。はい。お仕事で使われる、黒いスニーカー人気なのでお仕事用でも使われますし、あとはどちらもジョギングなんかに使っていただけるので、長い距離走るのにもどちらも適してますね。
今おすすめの新作どれですか？
はい、ありがとうございます。
可愛いですね、色が。
はい、マッハ6というタイプになります。軽量性と反発性が伴った商品で、特徴としてはスーパークリティカルフォームというものが使われていて、前回のモデルよりも反発性が増してより走りやすくスピードが、出しやすいモデルになっています。よかったらぜひ履き心地体験してみませんか？
ぜひ、はい、
ありがとうございます。直営店にはセーフサイズという 3D スキャンの機械があるので、ベストなシューズを提案できると思うので、よかったら
ぜひ行きます。はい。
じゃあどうぞこちら 3D スキャン、
はい、やってみたいです。ぜひ。
ぜひお願いいたします。
ドキドキしますね。
こちらでお靴脱いでいただいて、はい。よ
いしょ。でこのまま入っちゃっていいんですね。
はい、入ってください。で足枠の中に足入れていただいて少しズボンをまくっていただきます。
まくりましょうか。
はい、すいません、ありがとうございます。
こんな感じで。
直営店にしかない機械なので、はい、これはすごく。
これもやってるんですか今？
これ今やってます。足の長さ、高さ、幅。
すごい。
な感じで長さが左右差があまりないタイプで綺麗な足だと思います。
綺麗な足、良かったです。
幅も左右差なく、高さもほぼ同じですね。
初めて足、
見ました。
見ましたね、自分の足を。
で土踏まずのタイプも出ます。ニュートラル。
ニュートラルはいい。
いいです。はい。扁平足でもないし高すぎない。
おお、出た。
スピードゴートとチャレンジャーズも出てきますね。
私が気になってたスピードゴートが出ましたね。
出ました。こういった感じです。ありがとうございます。
これ押すとどうなりますか？色は
この中から選んで
選べるんだ。
選んでいただきます。
すごい楽しいですね。自分の足のサイズもちゃんとわかりますし、
わかります。はい。
フィット感もこれでわかるってことですね。
わかります。はい。3D スキャンでセーフサイズで確認できた商品がこちらになります。
はい。
他の製品すべてに共通するんですが、履き心地のクッション性の良さ っていうのがありまして、さらにまるで車輪のようなローリング運動を導くメタロッカージオメトリとHoka独自のテクノロジーが採用されています。
じゃあ履きます。
お願いします。
よいしょ。
はい。
あ、でもぴったりですね。サイズさっき出てたような形でフィットしました。お、軽い。
どうですか。
なんか、
はい、
クッションがちゃんとあるからか、
そうですね、
ジャンプしてもそんなになんか足にガッてこう。
そうですね。膝への負担とかもかなり少ないと思います。
力が入って。
はい。
でもすごい履き心地いいです。はい。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございました。はい、さあ続きましてデッカーズジャパンの本社で人気ブランドHokaの急成長の背景と今後の展望についてお伺いしていきたいと思います。はい、こちらはデッカーズブランズシニアバイスプレジデント、そしてヨーロッパ、ジャパン、アジアパシフィックの、ジェネラルマネージャーのマルコ・エラカーさんです。よろしくお願いします。Thank you so much for your time today.
And to you.
Okay. はい、そしてですね、デッカーズジャパン合同会社ジェネラルマネージャーのジョアンさんです。よろしくお願いします。Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you. まずですね、この本日お二人に人気ブランドHokaの急成長の背景についてお伺いしたいと思っております。はい、まずですね、デッカーズがこのHokaに注目した理由をお聞きしたいと思うんですけれども。Okay, I have a question for you, Marco. So why does Deckers especially focus on the Hoka brand right now?
Well, I mean, in the Deckers portfolio, we have a number of brands, including UGG and Teva. But Hoka is one that we bought around just over 10 years ago. And it was very, very small when we first started to own the brand from the founders. And we think that the potential for that market, the consumer who, not only runs, but the consumers who do trail running, hiking, walking, and also just lifestyle consumers, is a very broad market. So when we look at the overall portfolio, we think the potential is big for Hoka. So yeah, we pay a lot of attention to it, and we talk about it a lot in terms of future growth potential.
So what is your position and presence you would like to add in a global market? There are a lot of competitors, outshoe brands, but what's the uniqueness about Hoka, you think?
Well, I think the Hoka brand was originally conceived when it was really the original concept was trying to find a way to run on the trails faster, particularly downhill. That was the original thinking. So everything was geared around the ride, the speed, the comfort of trail running. And then that evolved into road running as well. And so I think the uniqueness is in the ride, the Hoka ride. When you put the product on and the way we set the shoes up, the cushioning, the way that the geometry of the shoes, and the way your foot sits in the product gives you a really unique ride experience. So generally when people put the shoes on, it feels great and it feels different. And then once they start running in it, that's the way our brand's grown. It's word of mouth, it's people telling their community how brilliant the shoes are. So I think it's the ride experience is the key thing.
Is it basically word of mouth, or did you do any promotion or marketing?
We've definitely been marketing the brand as well, obviously from day one, and we try and tell the authentic story about who we are as a brand, and we use the time to fly. We've talked about that as a sort of saying over time, but there has been a lot of business that's been generated through, I think, communities and people within the running community talking to each other or talking to friends and family and saying how amazing the product is. That's been a big thing, because of course when you think of the size and scale of us against some of the much bigger brands, we're not spending the type of money that they are, so it has to be a lot from word of mouth.
Do you feel the same way for marketing?
Yes, I do. Actually, Hoka, when we started in Japan, Hoka is a very, authentic running brand. But unlike other markets, Japan started, we are in the space, it's a little bit lifestyle space. We started, with a lot of people who are loving the Hoka, and then not just for the running purpose, but, everyday leisure lifestyle, they still wear.
It's interesting because I work in Marunouchi area,
right.
And there are a lot of business people, they wear Hoka too. Yeah. So I think it's unique. You can run and do something sports activities at the same time you can use it in a business perspective.
People get a lot of confidence from knowing that the products can be used for running. It's got the technology there. You can wear these shoes for running, but if you want to be walking to work in them, they're fantastic for that as well. The comfort's there, and you can be on your feet all day and enjoy wearing them. So yeah, it definitely has dual purposes.
Correct.
Thank you. ここからはそのビジネスが好調な要因についてお伺いしたいと思っております。I learned that sales is up about 22%, not compared to last year. So what is the reason for the earning report and sales growth, you think?
A 22% growth in Q3, which just happened, is sort of where we've been as a brand. This growth has been there, and it comes from, I think, mainly just more and more people adopting the brand. We're growing brand awareness. All of the measures of brand awareness across the world are growing, and more people engage with the brand and love the brand. So that passion for Hoka is giving us that growth potential and that growth performance, if you like. And added to that, of course, we're opening stores like Harajuku, which I'm sure we'll talk about, but having more of a presence and visual and visible presence in the marketplace is helping us as well to get us that growth. So being positioned in not only our own stores, but in some of the best wholesale distribution retailers around the world as well is helping.
So what is Hoka's strength compared to other brands, you think?
I think the ride in Hoka products is quite unique. I think the other strength that we have is that we don't visually look like other brands necessarily. I think when you look at our product, it's got a distinctive look. We use color a lot in our products. Our branding's pretty strong, and so I think that definitely gives us a distinctiveness. You don't want to be wearing the same shoes as everybody else is wearing. So I think we've got that.
Right.
And I think that the people we have working in the brand are deeply passionate about what we're trying to achieve. We really pride ourselves on creating an amazing culture within Deckers in total, and also within the Hoka brand. So I think that helps us to work together as a team and think about what we want to achieve and be really clear on the vision and the strategy together, and not think in silos. So that's also a big strength of ours, I would say. Yeah.
So what do you need to make the brand stronger, you think?
Yeah, I think definitely building community is the key. I think, we have to continue to be very authentic about who we are and what we are. We don't want to be doing anything that's replicating or copying any of the stuff that other brands are doing. I think we want to be creating our own path. So when we're thinking about innovation, we want to be leading on innovation. I think we want to be building that community authentically out there, and continue to communicate in a distinctive way versus the other brands. I think that's the key for us. I think that really is.
I think regarding to Japan, you are absolutely correct. I think one of our we are very performance led, and then our technology, our product, it's definitely different and very distinguished compared with other brand. And we would like to use this, to continue to elevate and then bring, to introduce or bring more goodness to the consumer, to the running community. So community part is very, very important for us as a brand.
Yeah. I think you're right. And the other thing is, well, when you think about our brand right now, globally, most of the people that are wearing our brand globally are wearing it for running. If you just look at the statistics as we look at it, and if we think about how we scale the brand considerably in the future, then we need to be having different wearing occasions. So whilst running is the key thing right now, everyday runners are wearing our brand and loving wearing our brand, whether they're doing 5Ks, 10Ks, casual run here and there, or serious club runners. But the growth has to also come from building our trail running community and hike, and we have apparel accessories that we can build as well. More people adopting it for everyday lifestyle as well. So all of that needs to grow, and we need to be very thoughtful about how we go about doing that with great products and great communication. But I think the stores give us that opportunity to showcase the whole collection, whereas it's sometimes been harder for us to do that in the past. The stores make a big difference on that.
It's interesting because EC is a big part of your business too, but you try to open more shops to communicate with the customers.
Yeah, it needs to be a blend, right? The two things. But the e-commerce part of our business is definitely building and growing, is substantial, and we're trying to make that experience really, really intuitive and engaging for the consumer when they come online. But I think you need to complement that also with the physical in-store touch and feel of the product as well, and that sort of that service that you feel from being one-on-one with one of our staff. So yeah, the combination is going to be critical for us, and also we want to work with great partners too, great retail partners who have their own communities that they've built up. So we want to work with them. So we're being very choiceful about which partners we want to work with and where. So yeah.
So do you think Japanese market and you're gonna have more good communities here? You think?
Yeah, I think so. Japan, this market has always been a challenge market, not easy to crack down because Japan is the consumers are always very technical savvy, and with a lot of they're really passionate about running, and the channels are very kind of strong in here. So what we're trying to do now is to build strong community and have a consumer that actually have that, like Marco has said, touch the feeling, actually have their experience firsthand and touch the product, how they feel, and also we call it omni-channel. Also on the e-commerce side, when they are coming back for the second pair of shoes, they know where to choose. So it's building this very, very strong community. It's what we're trying to do.
What was the first reaction when you found out that Harajuku, was chosen for store in Japan?
My reaction was elation, fantastic, because we want to be very selective about where we open. So our strategy has been to choose the key cities around the world. So Tokyo is one of those, and so we were trying to find the right place, and we love this position because of the visibility of where it is. We want it to be a great showcase for the brand and an experiential showcase for the brand as well. So that position is really great for us. And for example, we're opening this week also in fact next week in New York. We have a store opening there. We had one just open recently in London. We have one in Paris coming up. So we're choosing the really influential cities around the world to be where we want to be. And we think that's going to have a real halo effect on the brand across the world.
What was
so elation for me. Yeah. What about you?
I feel exactly the same. I mean, for Japan, our strategy is, try to be very, very market, we call it marketplace strategy. We make sure we're actually opening the store at the best place or, where we can reach consumers. And they are we're going to have the good communication. For example, one of the store that we just opened up, we're supposed to open up Harajuku stores, and we do have other projects that is coming in. For example, Nagoya is coming spring. We already have a store in Yokohama, so those are very, very key important cities that we have in Japan. Yeah,
that's amazing, exciting to grow, right?
Yes.
With this air actually might be the most important thing to communicate with people in person, maybe.
Right.
Okay, so how do you see the positioning in Japanese market compared to other shoe brands in Japan?
As I mentioned, I think Japan it's kind of a tough market to crack. Like I said, it's one of the most tech-savvy consumer with such a high level and high passion of running and have very, very concentrated channel on sporting goods. Hoka is and will always be a very performance-driven and premium brand in running, with a unique edge in other categories such as trail and outdoor. And we're going to introduce apparel and throughout the massive this performance position. And by doing that, we are actually, we want to get more authenticity. For example, have more investments inside of, giving sponsorship. For example, what we did last year is we did the Osaka's International Women's Marathon. So we're going to continue to do sponsorship like that to have a more awareness and branding in this market.
So you want to approach more runners
Yes.
here? Okay, thank you. はい、そしてですね、ホカ原宿の出店についてどのような期待を寄せているかお伺いしていきたいと思います。Okay, so what kind of expectation do you have for opening of Hoka Harajuku? If you want to add something else with the
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's two sides to it, right? There's the financial expectations, which is, of course, we have our plans and our targets of what we want to achieve there, which is one aspect of it, which we think we can do. We think just the experience we've had so far of opening up, for example, in London, we have a very high traffic area in London that we have opened up, and we're performing well there. So we think that Harajuku can do a similar job. But the other measure is about the engagement. This whole concept of how much does this improve our consumer connection with our brand? All those people that are going to come through the doors and experience and see the brand, what's the impact on them in the future? So we'll be measuring the effect on that, and it could be that some people might go in the shop and then they might buy online or might buy in one of our partners' stores. That's fine, but we'll measure the impact of that as well.
What's the perception of Harajuku? Like, okay, long time ago, some artists thinking about Harajuku or something like that. Like, it's a center of fashion, Japanese, interesting and sometimes weird fashion center. Do you feel it's gonna be a little bit challenging, or it's gonna be kind of fun and make it attractive for even foreigners?
I think it's definitely a very, like you mentioned, it's a center of, fashion. I mean, Harajuku has been perceived as a young fashion, especially in not just Japan, but the rest of Asia. The other, we actually welcome a lot of foreigners, into Harajuku. So there's a hala, urahala, or there's a lot of fashion. It's starting from Harajuku. So actually opening a store in Harajuku means a lot to us. I mean, we would like to, like we mentioned, we like to reach out to the community and then actually offer them, the products that we have. We would like to show them such an authenticity of the Hoka DNA. And our brand was actually originally started from the French Alps. So not just running, but we would like to, give more offer, for example, apparel or anything that's just beyond potentially, trail running and more outdoor eventually. So it's a fun, hopefully it's going to be, really fun things to do, not just for us, but for the community as well.
One of the reasons why we also chose that place was because when we talked about what we wanted to achieve there, of course it's the sort of traffic and the exposure it's going to give us, and yes, there's tourists there as well, but actually it's because it's close to a park, very close to a park. Right. There's a lot of runners that are running in that area as well, so we wanted that connection to running there to be strong. So when we use the community space upstairs and do runs with, once, twice a week, we're going to be going and running in the area and start to build that for the brand too. So that's the exciting part for us too.
Thank you. So what about you for the Japanese market? What kind of goal do you have to achieve?
For Japanese market, like I mentioned, I think Hoka isn't always a very, very performance-led brand. So for Japan, we're continue to, we are going to prioritize our marketplace strategy and then selected the areas or key cities that we would like to, expand and have that consumer, feel that the, experience, the consumer experience, and not just core running, but also, try our best and then also attack on the trail running and outdoors and bring more products and, and then experience to the overall Japanese consumer.
I'm excited to hear all the stories, and I hope Hoka is going to grow globally in Japan too. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks for your time as well.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
今回ですね、ホカの取材を通じて感じたことなんですけども、先ほどからパーパスというお話をされていまして、目的ニーズに合ったブランド作りはどういうものかというのを学ばせていただきました。個人的にもですね、そのブランドの作り方もそうなんですけども、その戦略、どのように成長をこれからさせていくかというビジネスの考え方についても勉強させていただきました。皆さんご視聴ありがとうございました。